I like how we've had 4 episodes of this anime now, and we still haven't had any character development for Tazuna and Kiori, and yet, for the past 2 episodes, we've gotten quite a handful of character developments for Chizuru and Hayate. That's right, I finally found out that the girl is called Chizuru, and Tazuna somehow found out Chizuru's name, even though Chizuru has never, to my knowledge, actually mentioned her name before Tazuna mentioned it. What the fuck? And to be honest, this episode was full of WTF moments, and not the kind of WTF moments that actually make sense, more like WTF moments that make no sense whatsoever. But like I said before, this is the kind of anime that prioritizes style over substance, and this episode is a prime example of that. So in episode 4 of Handshakers, we continue seeing the battle between Tazuna and Chizuru and Hayate, and once again, Koyori is useless in the battle for Tazuna. She does nothing. What is the point of her even being in this anime? Anyway, after the crazy battle on the ground, Tazuna lures Chizuru and Hayate onto the roof of this building, and Chizuru once again creates fake clones of herself, and somehow Tazuna is able to tell which Chizuru clone is actually Chizuru, because they are on a roof. Again, what the fuck? How does that even make sense? So then Hayate takes over the fight, and he and Tazuna jump off the building and do sword fights in the air. And I'm not too sure why this happened, but it was probably just done to create an epic shot where the two are just fighting in the air. Then Tazuna defeats Hayate somehow and the battle is over. Now, even though I appreciate that a lot of effort went into the graphics of the battle, I have no idea how Tazuna actually won, and how his tactic of luring his foes onto the roof actually gave him an advantage in the first place. So later on, Chizuru and Hayate talk with Tazuna, Kiori, and the scientist guy, and I feel like this anime having an extended talking scene was a bit of a risk. After all, style over substance media doesn't usually shine in the dialogue department. So this scene in the scientist guy's house sees Chizuru once again get upset that she looks like a child, again playing to her whole inferiority complex. And the scene also shows how Hayate still acts like a child despite looking like an adult. And Chizuru and the scientist guy determine that a handshaker battle can occur if handshakers get close to each other, say within 1 kilometer, or if one handshaker thinks about another handshaker, in particular the other handshaker's name. Now, at first I thought this was just a subtle hint as to why Chizuru was so secretive about her name in the previous episode, I think, but then again that reasoning actually makes zero sense to me in the end. Chizuru also deems the scientist guy to be ineffective as a guardian, so Chizuru and Hayate volunteer themselves to become Tazuna and Kiori's bodyguards. So then we get some relationship development between Chizuru and Hayate as they drive together to the city. Chizuru feels bitter about losing to Tazuna, and that Hayate in the end is very helpful to her, and Hayate feels sad also. This all takes place against nighttime Japan, and the whole beautiful nighttime Japan setting just gives the scenes between Chizuru and Hayate a really nice atmosphere. So yeah, this episode had nice action, but it also had moments and dialogue that didn't really make sense to me, and those moments that didn't make sense just sucked me out of this episode. There needs to be less dialogue in this anime, as really dialogue is not this anime's strong suit. Showing us a beautiful nighttime Japan, on the other hand, is one of this anime's strong suits. So this episode ends with Kiori discovering that Tazuna has suddenly and randomly become bandaged on parts of his body, and Kiori seems to feel guilt over this. So hopefully next time we'll get some actual character development for the two leads, and maybe, just maybe, Kiori will finally speak some lines of dialogue, as well as be more useful in the handshaker battles.